Most people don't think of Guyana as the first country in South America that has a lot of natural resources. But this small country on the north coast of South America is said to be one of the richest in the continent in just 5 years. This is because huge oil reserves were found off its coast. This is expected to bring the country's government billions of dollars and give its people thousands of jobs. Few could have expected the metamorphosis of Guyana's capital city when the sun rises. The first symptoms of an incredible economic development are seen in the old colonial thoroughfares and deteriorating timber temples. Construction and heavy machinery fill the air as unemployed people work on building sites or drive taxis. Vessels flood newly built ports with cranes. Grandiose infrastructure ambitions include massive gas-fired and hydroelectric power plants, sprawling roadways to connect isolated regions and neighboring nations, and a new deep-water port to meet insatiable global demand. Funding increases aim to improve healthcare and education, while hundreds of thousands are expected to escape poverty in 2 years. An extraordinary economic boom is funding this. Indeed, Guyana's economy increased by 57.8% in 2022, beating all other nations. In 5 years, Guyana expects to become South America's richest nation, with a GDP per capita on par with Italy. Guyana, infamous for its economic incompetence, is unique in all of this. It was South America's most underdeveloped and lethargic nation just a few years ago. Nearly half the population was impoverished and unemployment was widespread. Decades of neglect have left education, healthcare, and infrastructure in ruins. Guyana's people endured a half-century of racially divisive and bitter politics. The contemporary miracle raises several issues. Why was Guyana poor? How is it growing so fast? Is it too wonderful to be true? To understand why Guyana was poor, it is essential to look back at the country's history. In the 16th century, Spanish explorers overlooked the notoriously wild coast while they exploited most of South America. The Dutch settled in Guyana. Tens of thousands of African slaves were brought each year to drive the industry's boom, peaking in 1833 with over 100,000 active slaves, 60% of the colony's population. By this point, Guyana was a British colony, and the abolition of slavery in its colonies in 1838 shook the slave-dominated sugar business, which made up a large part of Guyana's economy. Guyana's plantation owners sought workers elsewhere as their businesses faced extinction. Since most laborers didn't want the tough, unforgiving work, they hired indentured servants from other British colonies, mostly from India. These servants would work 5 years for food, housing, and a one-way trip to the colony. British Guyana received about 250,000 indentured Indian laborers from the end of slavery to 1917. Today, Guyana is split between the Afro-Guyanese who live in the cities and the Indo-Guyanese who farm in the countryside. Guyana exploited new resources throughout the 20th century. Guyana's bauxite was abundant as the world discovered aluminum's various uses. Guyana was the world's fourth largest bauxite producer by the 1960s, despite its tiny size. However, Guyana's over-reliance on raw resource exploitation and colony status meant that its immense resources riches were exploited without significant quality of life improvements. After World War II, Guyana has also taken steps to address another potential issue related to its oil boom: environmental concerns. The nation has committed to a green growth strategy and desires to have 100% renewable energy by 2025, along with plans for building one of the largest hydroelectric power plants in the world. This also entails investing in solar and wind energy. Additionally, Guyana is dedicated to safeguarding its woods, which make up more than 80% of the nation's total area and are one of its most valuable natural resources. But there are still worries about how oil drilling in Guyana's waters might affect the environment, especially in the light of the 2020 oil spill off the coast of Venezuela. The government and oil companies have taken steps to reduce the chance of oil spills. For example, double-hull tankers are now required, and a national oil spill response plan has been made. But environmentalists worry that the country's lack of experience with offshore drilling and the potential for lax regulation could lead to disaster. Another challenge facing Guyana is its political and social landscape. The country has a history of ethnic tension and political corruption, and the current administration has faced criticism for its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and allegations of election fraud. There are also concerns about the potential for oil wealth to exacerbate existing inequalities and corruption. To address these challenges, the government has pledged to increase transparency and accountability, including establishing an anti-corruption commission and a national oil and gas regulator. It has also sought to promote social cohesion through initiatives such as the One Guyana Commission, which aims to promote unity and dialogue across ethnic and political lines. Guyana's economic turnaround has been nothing short of miraculous despite these obstacles. It is on course to increase its GDP from being among the lowest in the Western Hemisphere to being among the highest. For other resource-rich nations, its achievement in avoiding the resource curse and investing in sustainable development may serve as an example. The world will be watching Guyana as its oil production increases to see if it can maintain its economic growth and stay away from the problems that have befallen other oil-rich countries. If it succeeds, it may be a wonderful illustration of how a nation can use its natural resources to prosper in a sustainable way that enhances the lives of its citizens. Guyana's rapid economic growth and transformation in recent years is a remarkable story and one that offers valuable lessons for other countries. Although the country faces a lot of big problems, its commitment to sustainable growth and investment in its people give people hope for a better future. Whether Guyana can achieve its ambitious goals and become the land of oil without sacrificing its natural resources, political stability, and social cohesion remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the world will be watching as Guyana charts its course towards prosperity and sustainable development.